Okay, today I'm going to run you through a 5-step process to help you hold more putts where it matters on the course under pressure. And to help us do that, we're going to start inside using the PuttOUT Tour Studio set, which you can see here on the floor. We're going to run through exactly what is involved or what is included in this set, but let's get straight into level number 1. Now, the key focus here for this video is start line. It's one of the key skills that we need to master if we're to hold more putts. We need to be able to start the ball on the line that we choose. And we're going to run you through 5 levels to help you do that. In level 1, we are using the PuttOUT mirror and gate set to help me start the ball online. So what I've actually got here is I've got very simply a start line gate, which you can see is set in front of my ball by around about a foot, maybe just over. Around my ball, I've got the PuttOUT mirror, and I've got these little barriers which are there to help me in terms of where my putter is moving through the ball to make sure I'm not hitting the heel or the toe. Now on the putting mirror, I've got plenty of lines which can help me with club face alignment. It can help me with matching the alignment aid of my putter to the alignment aid that I've got on my ball. And it can also aid and help with head position. So I know that I put my best when my eyes are very fractionally inside the ball. And as I stand here looking down into that mirror, I can see that my eyes are exactly where they need to be, just on the inside of the ball. So using that mirror means that I can get myself set up exactly the same every time. It's consistent. I'm starting to set myself up exactly where I need to be every single time. Once I've done that, it's then a case of setting the putter in behind the ball and using the visuals that are around my putter to help me align it. As I said, I can use those lines on the gate, I can use the line on the ball, I can use the line on my putter. Once I feel comfortable and I'm happy, then I'm going to go ahead and see if I can roll that ball through the gate. And you can see that was a successful putt. Now what I'd love you to do here is set yourself a goal, maybe hit 10 putts and start to record how many of those 10 went through the gate and start to look for some patterns. If you're not going through the gate, are you missing on the right hand side, the left hand side? Starting to look for the trends that are within your putting stroke. Now just this practice on its own, you'll start to improve your start line because you'll start to self-diagnose, you'll start to self-correct. If you start to miss on one side, you'll start to make those micro movements that we need to change the putter alignment and get that ball through the gate. Now because I've got things there helping me, I've got the mirror, I've got the gates here, and I've got the visuals, that's level 1. That's generally how it's going to be the easiest to start the ball online. Once you feel that you're competent at that, we can move on to level 2. So for level 2, we need an outcome. We need something that we're actually working towards. That first level, we're literally just working on that skill of start line. So for level 2, we want to effectively hold a putt. We want to use that skill to give us a positive result. And for that, we're going to use one of the 2 PuttOUT trainers that you get in the Tour Studio kit. The one I've got here is the Platinum version. That is awesome. That's the one that you're going to use at home. Absolutely phenomenal. And you can see that I've got that directly through the gate. And I reckon I've probably got that getting close to 5 feet away from my golf ball. So now, not only have I got to roll the ball through the gate, but I've actually got to be thinking a little bit more about the job at hand, which is ultimately holding a putt. Now the PuttOUT trainers are designed fantastically well that if that ball rolls back towards me, then that was a successful putt. If I was on the course, that would go in. If it hits the PuttOUT trainer and misses, that tells me it's a lip out. So as I set myself up, I'm still using the gate to make sure my eye line is correct. I'm still using the mirror to give me that feedback on my putter alignment, but now I'm actually looking up towards that PuttOUT trainer before I make my stroke. The ball rolled up, it came back, that tells me that was a successful putt. I would have holed that had it been on the golf course. Now, as we're into level 2 here, you'll notice that I've got a line on my ball. I'm starting to do this like I would on the golf course. If you are someone who uses a line on the ball, I'd encourage you to do it. Go through the process that you would on the golf course. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. But during this level 2, as I set myself up to the ball, what you'll notice is that quite instinctively, my eyes and my head is rotating to look at that target. We didn't really do that in phase 1. It was more just a case of rolling it through. So let's see if I can go number 2. Eye line is good. Putter face alignment is good. And that one hit the gate. That was a fail. So like we said in number 1, really encourage you to do 10 shots or 10 putts and keep a record. you know, start to see how many out of 10 you're successful with. And that's 2 that have hit the inside of the gate on the left. So there's starting to be a little bit of a pattern there. But for level 2, we're really looking at providing an outcome for the putt. Was it a hold putt or was it a miss putt? And the PuttOUT trainers are brilliant to help you establish that. So we're on to level 3. We're taking away the mirror, taking away the stabilizers that are helping you. Obviously those little gates there which are magnetic, which sit on there, haven't got those now, haven't got the visuals of where my eye position is, what my club face is, I haven't got any of those. So it's definitely a lot more difficult. Now at level 2, you saw how difficult it was. I missed a couple. If you find you are struggling, stick with that for a little bit longer. Use the mirror, make sure the club face or the putter face alignment is spot on, get that dialed in. And if you're also needing a little bit of work on your stroke, that's when you can use the putting plane here. You know, really helps you with the shape of your stroke. Once you start to get slightly more success and you start to be able to roll the ball through and hold it, then you're on to level 3. We've still got the same setup. We've got the gate and I've got the platinum PuttOUT trainer. But on this one, we haven't got, as I said, the mirror. So level 3, we're starting to remove some of the things that you've got in practice. Clearly, I wouldn't have that mirror on the golf course. So what I have got to do now is I've got to then make sure my eye position is good, make sure the club face or the putter face alignment is good, and then roll it through and see if I can hold it. And there was a successful putt. So through the gate, the ball came back from the trainer. That tells me that I hold it. So on the golf course, that gives you some really good feedback. The way that these trainers are designed is really, really clever. So any ball that hits and comes back to you would be classed or would have gone in the hole. If it hits and lips out, that tells you that on the course it would have missed. When you take a close look at these, really well designed, you can see these different entry points, which are great for visualizing if it's a left edge putt or a right edge putt. Hopefully this floor I'm using here is pretty flat, so I'm focusing very much on that one, but these are fantastically well designed for indoor practice. And for level 3, which is what I'm working on here, exactly what I need because I get straight feedback. So very similar to what we said before, let's get you hitting 10 putts and see how many of those 10 you can make. There was 2 out of 2. So this is level 3. And then once you're successful and you've done some level 3 work, we then need to actually find a real putting green, which is where we're going to do level 4. Right, level 4. We're now outside on the putting green. We're now starting to transition the skills. We started probably at home in your office with a mirror, with a gate, with that PuttOUT trainer on that mat. Doing that is fantastic and you're really going to help your skill, but we can't simply do that and then think we can go and perform. We have to transition those. New skills, that's what we're doing here. So on the green, I've got the gate, I've got the PuttOUT gate, I've still got it set just in front of my golf ball, I've got my ball with a line on, everything's similar, but I'm on a green. I've actually got a hole. This is the environment where I'd actually play golf. It feels more like a golf course, and that's why this is the next level. Now, because it feels more like a golf course, and we've got an outcome and a hole, it can be a little bit more difficult, but the goal and the process is always the same. It's can I roll that ball through the gate? Through the gate, you saw that blue line roll end over end over end, therefore it went in the hole. So my start line there was perfect. That's level 4. Once you can do that, brings us on to the final level, level number 5. It brings us on to level number 5, which is pressure and break. Now pressure is really hard to create, but we can try and do that. But break, which is when the ball, you know, curves to the left or the right, that massively influences your ability to start the ball on line. Let's say you've got a big left to right putt, and so you're aiming, let's say, some 3 or 4 feet left of the hole. Subconsciously, you know the hole is out this way, and very often you leave the club face open, or you're aiming to the right and you close the club face. It's incredible how many golfers struggle to start the ball on line when there's break. And this goes back to that transitional phase, because you can do it on that perfectly flat surface at home with the mirror, with the gate. Just because you can do it there, it doesn't mean you can do it on the 18th hole with a left to right break where you've got to aim 2.5 feet left. So we have to train for that. So what you can see here, I've got the line on the ball. I've read this putt being from the left, and then when I've read that putt, I've put the gate on my start line. So what I've actually got now is a putt which is maybe some 10 feet. I've had to read it, there's a skill. I've had to place my line on the ball, then place the gate. Now I'm asking myself the question of, can I start the ball on line, even though it feels very much as if that ball is going to go left of the hole, which it needs to do. So this is really starting to challenge my start line skill and see whether I can do what I need to do when it really matters. And that was a pretty good putt. I reckon that was a perfect shot. It just needed a little bit more pace. But you can see what I did. I started it exactly on the right line, which tells me actually two bits of information. Number one, it tells me I did start the ball on the line that I chose. And number two, it tells me that I actually read the putt perfectly. It just needed a fraction more pace and that ball would have gone in. So the final thing is to try and build pressure, because that can affect your ability. Very difficult in practice, but you can start to create some games. So you might set yourself a game of, can I hit 10 putts in a row through the grate with some break before I leave the putting green? You start to get to putt number 8 and number 9, you start to feel a little bit of pressure, you start to try and get those juices flowing, because that's exactly what the golf course will do to you. It'll put you under pressure, it will challenge you, and you need to practice that to be able to do it under pressure. So using that PuttOUT Tour Studio kit, we can start off with level 1, we can make it relatively easy, and then after that we start to remove some of the devices that are helping, we start to bring it out onto the golf course, and we start to transition those skills. So important. So if you can follow that 5-step process, you will absolutely be holding more putts when it matters on the golf course when there's a card in your pocket.